infected or patients in intensive care, and of course, the increase or decrease of the number of dying people. We are very thankful, of course, that the curve has flattened and the line is going down. Hope did not disappoint us here. What we hoped for has become reality. John Green, an American author, said, "We need never be hopeless because we can never be irreparably broken." That is what we're hoping, isn't it? That we are never irreparably broken, individually or as a country, mentally or physically, or economically. We hope for healing and recovery. We know that we are living a new normal, and soon it will just be our normal. We know that things will not be the way they were before the pandemic. Many things in our society will change because of what we've been through. But we hope and expect with confidence that things will get better, even better than before in some respects. And this learning curve will have made us stronger people for it. Dalai Lama XIV said, "There is a saying in Tibetan, tragedy should be utilized as a source of strength, no matter what sort of difficulties or how painful the experience is. If we lose hope, that is the real disaster." When I contemplated the word hope, I saw an acronym in the letters, HOPE, holding out with optimism, perseverance, and endurance. Hope is how human beings hold out. They endure hardships and dark times with perseverance and endurance. Endurance is the measure of a person's stamina, and perseverance is being able to continue in a course of action without being deterred by disappointment, opposition, or previous failures. Difficulties produce in us perseverance and character to endure, which produces hope in us, the hope of better things to come. Hope inspires us, it carries us, and gives us the possibility to reach even higher than we thought possible. We can exceed our grasp when we are raised up by hope. I could think of many stories of hope. They're innumerable. But one story came to mind as I was thinking of this. It was a story that happened almost 2 years ago in Thailand, and I'm sure you will remember it too. A football team of 12 young boys and their coach went into a cave for an initiation rite in which they wrote the names of the new team members on a wall in the cave. They were only planning on being in there for an hour. They emerged almost 2 weeks later, thankfully alive. The boys and their coach had gotten lost in a cave that snakes 10 kilometers beneath the mountain range that divides Thailand and Myanmar. They were swallowed up under an unforgiving mountain, surrounded by darkness in a cave system that is the 4th largest in Thailand. Unfortunately, because it had been raining for several days, the cave was filling with water, and much faster than they had expected. They were forced to move farther back into the cave, finding themselves marooned on a rocky shelf several kilometers from the entrance. They did have a flashlight, a small amount of food, and they drank the moisture that dripped from the cave walls. They were stuck in a place of darkness and silence deep underground. Another thing they had with them was hope. The players and their coach said that they never gave up hope of being found alive. One boy, to keep his hopes alive, dug into the wall, hoping to find a way out by making a tunnel. There was also hope outside the cave. A full-blown rescue effort was being initiated. The rescuers came from all over the world. The elite Navy Thai SEALs were called in. Even divers from Belgium went to help. This was an unknown situation. They risked their lives to find the lost football team, holding out hope that they would be found and found alive. A small group kept a vigil outside the cave, waiting to hear news that they had been found. The group included some teachers from their school because they wanted to be there to greet the boys when they came out. Saying this even before the boys were found. They were hopeful in the face of certain tragedy, but they chose to hold out onto hope that the team would be found and found alive. I am certain that there was much fear among them all too. Who could blame them? How could they not be afraid? The boys are in the dark, hungry, and cut off from the world. Minutes before this misadventure began, one of the boys was looking forward to getting home for his birthday party. Haven't we all, at one time or another, found ourselves in circumstances where we are in the dark? We're in a dark place, a difficult place, and we're sitting on the edge of fear and hope. Which way do we go? I want to run and hide. But what does that accomplish? And what pushes you forward is finding something to hope in, some bend or curve or change that will make things better. It was 9 days before the boys were found. The rescuers said that they smelled them before they saw them. They were barely holding on. The water was rising and oxygen levels were falling. How does one balance fear and hope? The fear, especially in dire situations, of what you hope for not becoming reality is justifiable. And it would be very understandable if their coach, a former monk, had prepared them to die in that cave instead of preparing them to survive, teaching them meditation techniques to stay calm and conserve their energy and oxygen. That being said, a person still chooses which one they will give into, fear or hope. Hope is stronger than fear is a well-known quote from the author Robert Ludlum. I think that choosing hope over fear may have helped to save some lives that day. Fear and possible panic would have been a deadly combination in a dark, cold cave filled with water. I honestly don't know how I would react in a situation like that. You never know how you're going to react until you're in certain situations. I hope I never find out what it's like to be in this situation, and I'm pretty sure I never want to go into a cave again after reading this story. I use details of this story found in the BBC News in an article about the Thailand cave rescue. You can choose to hold out hope with optimism, but it is not a magic trick. There are no silver bullets. There are no 100% guarantees in life in matters like these. Is it the possibility of something good happening, the hope that it will happen, that keeps people going, even without the guarantee of a good outcome? Do we only hope for things that are guaranteed to happen? Hope that is seen is not hope at all. Who hopes for what they already have? We hope for what we do not see, and we wait for it patiently. That's a quote by the Apostle Paul in the book of Romans. The search and rescue team was a huge effort with people from all over the world coming together to rescue 12 boys and a coach in a mission that had never been tried or tested, which involved great risk and determination, in which one man did give his life. They all held out hope that the boys and their coach would be found and rescued, and hope did not disappoint that day. In the end, hope became a reality. But what about when hope does disappoint? What happens on that day that the test comes back positive for cancer? A positive diagnosis of a disease that will change your life and your family's life drastically for the rest of your life? What about if the test comes back positive for the coronavirus? What if the curve heads in the negative direction again with no possibility of change? What if there's not a cure or a medication to treat this? Where does hope come in here? We still have the choice to choose hope or fear. There are many situations where people do lose hope. There are also many reasons that people lose hope. Depression can push people to despair and even to commit suicide. And there are many reasons for depression. The pandemic is a cause for despair and depression and even suicide. A job loss, a broken relationship may cause a person to lose all hope. Even chemical imbalances in the body cause chemical depression. When a person sees no way out of their current situation, they see no possibility of change or a bend in their circumstances, then fear comes in and it drives out hope. What then? Without hope, a person cannot persevere, cannot endure. A situation like this can certainly end in tragedy. We only need to read the news to see stories of people who did not or could not hold out hope with optimism, perseverance, and endurance. Sadly, yes, it is a reality that sometimes we are not mentally or physically capable of holding out hope. Losing hope means losing power. The power to influence your future for good. The power to imagine the light at the end of the tunnel or cave. The power to endure until help arrives, or until a cure is found, or a vaccination, or at least till a medicine is found that can help. To persevere through the difficulties and darkness until that light comes into view, and no matter how small that light is, it shows that the future is not total darkness. There is a flicker of hope still alive, a light burning that darkness or fear cannot overcome. There are times when you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, not even a flicker. Sometimes you know it is there, even if you don't see it. It's like when you're running through the Waasland Tunnel towards the end of the Antwerp 10-mile run, you know the end is there, even if you don't see the light. And that kilometer or so in the tunnel until you see it, that's the longest kilometer ever. You know that you just have to endure and persevere, but you're running uphill. But you know the light is there. There are times when you don't know that the light is there. You just hope it is there. And you look for it, and you search for it, and you run towards it. Hope is not always seen, because if we see it, there's no need for hope. We hope for what we do not see, and we have to wait for it patiently. When a person doesn't seem to have anything to hang on to or hold out for, hope is better than nothing at all. Hope is better than the black hole of bitterness or giving up and living defeated. We need never be hopeless. Things are never irreparably broken. It may not be like it was before, but it will be a new thing. Not a broken old thing, new and different. Look for the bending, the change, holding out with optimism. What do we as humans hope for? We hope for help, for cures, for rescues to happen, for vaccines to be developed. We hope for jobs. We are aware that many people right now are losing their jobs because of the virus. So finding a job is a big hope for many people right now. We hope we can travel soon. We hope we can get our hair cut or colored soon. There are a lot of things we hope for. We even have a lot of the things we have hoped for, and we're optimistic that we would get. I am pretty confident that the hair salons will open soon. Things we hope for are unseen, but we believe they will happen, like the development of a vaccine for the coronavirus. Hope springs eternal. We can always have hope, even if we don't have anything else to hold on to. But hope does sometimes disappoint. As I thought about this subject and what I would write, I could not imagine giving a talk without fully covering the word hope and without the mention of the Christian hope, which is an eternal hope. I felt like it would be a disservice to the subject itself. Hope is an unseen thing. It could fully satisfy us in the end, like with the rescue mission. And I know we all have known of many examples of hope becoming reality, or it could disappoint. And I'm sure that we all have examples of that too. But we don't give up hoping. It would literally be detrimental to ourselves to do so, to our health. These words were written 2,000 years ago to Christians from the Apostle Paul. It's a well-known text in the Christian faith and is often used for weddings. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's a different one. No, we're not there yet. It's a text written by Paul, though, in the New Testament. And it says, and it is a Christian faith text known very well. Now, faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. If you think about it, there is much in this world that we believe in, that we know is there, but we do not see it. Just ask a scientist. One example, I could find many, but one example would be gravity. You can't see gravity, but we know it is there because we see its effect. We don't see love itself, but we see the effects of love. We don't see evil itself, but we know evil is out there. We believe in it. With our eyes, we don't even see the virus, but we know it's out there because we see its effects. The Apostle Paul also wrote what we call the love verses, and these verses are often used in weddings, and some of you may recognize them. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never ends. And now these three remain: love, faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. As was mentioned in the invitation, in the talk today, about hope, that there is a hope that's much more significant than our human hope. The things that we hope for in this life that are physical are important. Indeed, they're very important. Health, safety, vaccines, jobs, happiness, and living to the full. These are all good things to hope for. I hope for them all too. But hope in the Christian mind that is unseen yet believed is a hope that passes understanding, that reaches to the eternal, that reaches to a place where there's no more death or pain or pandemics. It is an eternal hope, a hope for something that we do not see, but we believe by faith. that it is there. If our hope is only in this life and in what this life gives, then that's all we have. Christians believe in an eternal hope, a hope that is found in faith in Jesus Christ, a hope that is found in God, the Creator, a hope that will be fulfilled when our earthly life is done. Hope will open a door to a place where love never ends. In the Bible, it is stated that God is love. We believe we will be with God where love reigns. Thank you all for listening, and I'm hoping for you that you can, at this time, see the things that are important to hope in. I hope we have good weather today. I hope we have a nice weekend. I hope we find it, the scientists find a cure for the vaccine. I hope for something that I don't see or know will happen, but I hold out with optimism and perseverance and endurance that it will happen, and I know that you will too. And my hope for you is that you will stop and think about the things that you do hope for and contemplate them and think about what's important to hope for also, and to never give up hope. And if you are ever in a place where you feel that way of giving up hope, that you have someone to talk to, someone to call, because living without hope and living in fear is not a good place to be. And I thank you all for listening, and I hope for you that you have a good day.